So today is the first day of the second week that I've been taking high dose of iodine every single day in the hope of treating my sluggish thyroid. The first week I was taking 12.5 milligrams of iodine every day, whereas the conventionally recommended dose is about 150 micrograms. So it's roughly 100 times the amount that's conventionally recommended. This week I'm taking double that, so it's 25 milligrams of iodine every day. And I have noticed some increased side effects today. I felt the sort of weird slight dizziness. I wouldn't describe it as tiredness so much as a feeling of slowness. Everything you do seems to be done in a kind of slow way, and there's a bit of brain fog there. I thought I might feel sick because when I first started doing the 12.5 milligrams I had problems with nausea, and I haven't really had that today, but I felt you could describe it as slightly out of sorts, slightly wobbly at times, maybe not as in quite as dramatic a way as I did when I first started taking the 12.5 milligrams of iodine. So I'm certainly going to persevere with this, and I hope that in the long run it will make me feel a lot better rather than a lot worse. I've also felt that I've discovered that I've got a slight bit of eczema on my neck that I don't think I had before. I think it's eczema, very dry skin. That seems to have appeared in the last couple of days. Apparently, the reason that we get these side effects from doing this high dose of iodine, and you are warned about it if you do this iodine supplementation protocol, the reason is that, as the theory goes, the problems that we get with iodine deficiency come about because of bromide toxicity. Bromides are in fire retardants and a lot of cleaning fluids and things like that, even in some types of food, although I think in the UK where I am, I don't think we have it in our food. So I don't really know if that's the reason that I've had this problem, and I don't know to what extent it's happening. In fact, I was quite sceptical about it at first, but because of some of the detox symptoms or side effects that I've experienced, I think actually I have got or have had some sort of bromide toxicity. So the theory goes that the bromide clings to the iodine receptors in the body, and that is why you get the iodine deficiency, because your body can't absorb the iodine in the way it's meant to. I'm not a medical practitioner, so I might not be explaining this properly, but I'm trying my best. When you take high doses of iodine, this apparently causes the bromine, it dislodges the bromine from the receptors, and it then goes into your bloodstream, and you've got to get rid of it. And one way of doing this is essential if you're doing this protocol, is to do what's called salt loading. And you do this by putting a quarter of a teaspoon of unrefined salt. So it's sea salt, or as I've been using Himalayan pink salt, and I've been grinding it up in a pestle and mortar, and you add a quarter of a teaspoon to an 8-ounce glass of water, and I use hot water just to make sure it's dissolved, and you drink that. You're meant to do it twice a day, and then you drink a lot of water, and the purpose of this is to flush out the bromine so that you get it out of your bloodstream, and until you do that you're likely to have the side effects. So the first week when I was doing 12.5 milligrams of iodine dose every day, as the week went on I felt so much better that I thought, actually, I kind of forgot to do the salt loading. I was doing it mildly in the morning, i.e. I was having some salty water in the morning, but I wasn't really paying attention to consciously have a lot of water to flush the toxins away afterwards. And over the weekend, I just didn't get round to doing it. And what happened was, on Sunday, in fact, it started Saturday evening. Saturday during the day I was fine. Saturday evening I started getting a bit grumpy and moody. And then on Sunday I felt really tired. I'd had a very active day the day before. And I just decided I'm going to have a lazy day, not do very much. But I was asked to do a favour for a relative, and on the surface I was happy to do it. But underneath I felt really angry. I felt people are making demands on my time, and I just got moody and grumpy, and I felt myself kind of sinking into a really dark mood. So I did the favour, and I did it with grace. I wasn't being really horrible, but I just felt fed up. And later on I got cheered up because I went to see a friend. But then that evening, when I came back home, I went to bed and I just could not sleep. I couldn't sleep. My mind was just absolutely buzzing. Not in a kind of lively way full of ideas. I felt like I had things just going around my mind. I couldn't settle. And I didn't actually get to sleep until 4 in the morning. That doesn't usually happen to me. I'm usually quite a good sleeper. Sometimes I'll wake early in the morning or something, but I usually get back to sleep. But this was the worst insomnia that I can remember for a long, long time. So the next morning, Monday morning, I woke up in an absolutely black mood. I mean, I just was so tired. And I knew, obviously, I had to get up. But I thought, how am I going to get through the day? I was just so fed up. And it was really like having a black depression. I was so tired and so miserable. And I started having those awful negative thoughts, things, ridiculous things really. Oh, I'm such a failure, this kind of thing. For no good reason at all. I just felt absolutely down, depressed, miserable. And I didn't think this was a side effect. I didn't think it was to do with the iodine supplementation or the detoxing. I just thought, what's going on? Why am I feeling like this? But what I did was, as the day went on, I started thinking, maybe it is a detoxification effect, and maybe I should do the salt loading again. So I had a glass of salty water with my Himalayan salt, drank it, and then went out for a walk. And I did have a glass of water before I did that, and I took 2 apples to make sure that I had at least some hydration. So I had my walk, I felt kind of tired and sluggish, and then I got back and started drinking a lot more water, because I knew you've really got to drink a lot of water to flush out the salt, flush out the toxins, and this is what I did. I had 2 glasses of water, 2 12-ounce glasses of water, that's about 350ml each, and then 2 cups of peppermint tea, with nothing added, just peppermint tea. So in total that was about 1.5 litres of liquids. And the effects were quite dramatic, instantaneous. And as I was drinking the water and then the peppermint tea, I could just feel this black mood just lifting. It was really quite remarkable. And I knew at that point that this was a chemical thing, thank goodness. And it was quite dramatic because I realised the effects that these toxins, whether it is bromine or it might have been one of the other halogens as they call them, chlorine or fluorine, something in my system was reacting and setting me off in that way, and having flushed it out was obviously clearing it. And after that, the surge in energy I got was astonishing. I've got a rebounder, so I went and did some rebounding, and I was just jumping up and down for joy. My mind felt really clear. I just got down, I did lots of work, got lots of things done, and I didn't even feel tired, even though I'd only had 4 hours sleep that night. Went home feeling really relaxed, had a great sleep, and then the next morning started with the 25 milligrams of iodine for the week 2 of the protocol. And it's all been a real learning curve. I'm really pleased that I know that I'm on the right track with this. Whether it's actually a success in the end, I don't know, because as I say, I felt a bit odd today. My head's felt just as if I'm slightly got a swimming feeling in my brain, and I think that's because I've got twice as much iodine and twice as much detoxing to do. So I have done the salt loading today. I've drunk loads of water, about 2 litres of water, and I'm just hoping that the rest of the week goes well and improves, and I will report back on my progress.